Hey everybody, it's Kyla at the MJC, and today we're going to be going through the part 2, Stipulated with Minor Children. But before we get started, as always, I just want to remind everyone that nothing in these videos is intended to be legal advice. It's a video, so I'm not able to analyze your specific situation. I'm going to go through some reasons why someone might go forward stipulated, but I won't be able to make sure that it's the correct thing to do in your circumstance. I also won't be able to evaluate whether what you're asking for is in your best interest or whether a court can approve what you're asking for. So if you have those kinds of questions, I definitely recommend getting some legal advice. You can get brief legal advice for free here in Milwaukee County through the Marquette Volunteer Legal Clinics. If you're not located in Milwaukee County, you can contact your clerk of court to find out what resources are available in your area. All right, so stipulated with minor children is one of those that might feel a little unusual to you because unlike the people who started joint or separate, yours isn't titled the same way it was when you started. So what stipulated with minor children means is it means you started separately. So for some reason you filed the summons and petition paperwork. For most people, that's because when they started, either their spouse didn't agree to the divorce or to the terms of the divorce, or they didn't know if their spouse agreed. But one other reason that might have happened in your situation is some people, if one person qualifies for the fee waiver and the other doesn't, will have the person who qualified for the fee waiver file separately, and then they'll go forward together for the second part of the divorce. So, this is for anyone who started separately using the summons and petition forms that would have just been signed by one person and now are going forward together. So, looking just a bit at the situations when you're using the stipulated with minor children forms, again, you have started separately, but you now agree 100%. So, one thing we do see sometimes is we'll have people who say, you know what, my spouse and I agree on almost everything. We agree on property division, maintenance, custody placement. We agree there should be child support, but we haven't agreed to a number yet. One thing to know is when you're going forward together in this stipulated manner, you guys have to agree to everything. You have to agree to a specific number of child support. If there's going to be a specific placement schedule, you have to agree to that. So you have to agree about everything. So if you have some areas where you don't agree yet, you either would need to go forward separately, or what you could do is either get some legal advice to see if that can help you get closer, or talk to someone in a mediation program. Mediation programs are designed to try and help you and the other person in your case come to an agreement so that you can go forward together. The other things you'll need, or situations that need to be true for doing stipulated, is you and your spouse do have to both be willing and able to fill out forms and sign forms. Sometimes we'll get people that say, yeah, I'm sure my ex would agree to this, but they aren't willing to sign the forms and they won't fill out a financial disclosure. To be able to do this stipulated version, you guys really do have to be working as a team. The other person at a bare minimum has to be willing to fill out forms and to sign the forms. So if you do not think your spouse is likely to do that, that might be a situation then when stipulated isn't right for your situation. And last but not least, you and your spouse do both need to be able to attend your final divorce hearing. Right now during the pandemic, they're happening they're happening through phone and through Zoom, so sometimes it can be easier for people to attend. During normal, non-pandemic times, often you'll both need to attend in person. So just sort of knowing that, if you know your spouse either won't or can't attend the final divorce hearing, that could be another reason why stipulated might not end up being the right way for you to go forward. And then just a brief note on what it means to go forward with minor children. Obviously, if you and your spouse have children who are under 18 together, then you have minor children and you'd be using the with children forms. There is a situation where you might end up using the with children forms even if you and your spouse don't have children together. That situation is where there is a child that was born during the marriage, and it's worth noting that, again, during the marriage, so we're not worried about children from prior relationships, just children born while you were married. And even though the child isn't the other spouse's child, paternity has not been established for that child. In those situations, again, where a female party has a child that is not the other parent's and paternity hasn't been established yet, then you may end up having to use the with children forms, even if you don't have other children together. And so that gets to be a little bit of a more complicated situation. Again, could be a good situation to check in and get legal advice just to make sure everything is going the way it needs to in your case, but a situation to be aware of. So then, if you have heard all my spiel and you say, you know what, yep, that's the one for us, this still sounds right, then you're probably wondering what forms you need. And to do this, I'll note these are just the forms that you need to fill out. So we have an additional video that's a checklist that tells you where to take all of the forms, and that video lists out everything you need to gather, including, for example, the parent education certificates and the proof of service. So these, again, are just the forms that you need to fill out, not all of the things that you need to file. But you'll need the financial disclosure statement, the marital settlement agreement, the proposed parenting plan, the interim financial summary if anyone is requesting child support or maintenance, the order to appear, the declaration of non-military service, the divorce annulment worksheet if you are seeking a divorce. For those of you who are seeking a legal separation, you don't need that divorce annulment worksheet. And then you need the findings of fact, the party's approval of the findings of fact, and if anyone is changing their last name, so going back to a former surname like your maiden name or any other last name you've ever used, then you'll want the abridgment regarding surname form as well. And I've included the form numbers on here. At the MJC, we don't use the form numbers very much, but the form numbers are just to help you try and find the forms if you don't have them already. If you've already gotten a packet from the law library or another resource, great. You've got the paperwork then. You can also find them on our website, www.milwaukeejusticecenter.org, and through the state, the WI Courts forms site as well. All right, well, that is all of the forms that you need. Again, the rest of this playlist is going to be a bunch of videos walking you through how to fill out all of these forms. So I look forward to seeing you guys then. Otherwise, that's all for this video. I hope that you found it helpful. If you do still have questions during non-pandemic times, you can find us in room G9 of the Milwaukee County Courthouse. We can either answer your questions, or if we can't, try and point you in the direction for resources that can assist you. Otherwise, thank you all for watching, and I hope that you all go out and represent yourselves well.